Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Modern Skyblocks. So, today we are going to begin a very large build. So, just a heads up, it's going to be a couple episodes probably, a fairly large project that we're going to be working on. Because we're going to be doing our Cobbleworks, but in addition, our ore processing, like the gems and stuff like that, but in addition we're going to be doing a Cobbleworks inside of it that's going to handle a large plethora of materials, like a large amount of them. Some things that aren't even normally in a Cobbleworks, like blaze powder, lava, as well as handling all of our gems and all of that stuff all within one confined system for the most part. Really the only input that I have to do is wood and a little bit of power. Now a couple things that I have done since last episode. I've been moving stuff up and crafting. Oh my gosh, I've been crafting so many things. Over here, when I have a big surprise for you guys, and I actually just got this. Okay, you ready for this? Look, I got an ender lily seed. It took about 600 patches of grass, and that's not even an exaggeration. Just stacks of plant matter. But that's about 600 altogether. You know, last episode, I think it was like about 500 that I had went through between plant matter and bone meal. Majority being plant matter. And finally got one. Finally. So, awesome. Awesome times. And as soon as I got it, I was like, plant matter, like, got like half a stack. Or, no, it was over half a stack. It was 2.5 stacks of ender pearls. So, what, like, around 40 ender pearls. And then over here, I did move our, let's see. Oh, I've got 3 coke ovens now. Ryan, and I'm actually on the server right now with Severed and Ryan both, and Ryan made a bunch of extra coke bricks, and he was like, I don't need all these, so I was like, I'll take like 54 of them, and so, yeah, he hooked me up with some coke bricks. I still have to get around to upgrading and adding more blast furnaces. Honestly, these will probably get moved, and then I'll have probably 6 coke ovens and then some advanced blast furnaces, but I don't know. I don't know. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do there, but anyways, over here, this is basically our metal system from down below, but moved up here and added item ducts, right? However, I will say that I hate item ducts so much right now. They're fine for things like this, like, well, parts of this, but they do not agree at all with drawer controllers and controller slaves. They do not like them, and they will not pull anything from this. I've even set it to whitelist, just glass and charcoal, because that's the 2 things that are the most important, and it is not really pulling those. Like, there's glass in there, but that's stuff that I put in there, but, well, wait a second. It might have just suddenly started. Like, it hasn't pulled stuff for the past, like, I don't even know how many hours. Yeah, I'm out of glass. Okay, never mind. It suddenly started working. It's random. Like, literally, it has not worked for the last 4 hours or something like that I've been on here. It has not done nothing. And then all of a sudden it starts working. So that's good, I guess. But anyways, basically I have a lot of item ducts plugged up, and some of these are filtered. They don't really have to be filtered because really the only thing it can take is gunpowder and secundus, and it's going to know that it can take gunpowder and secundus. The filters are on there just because I was trying to get them to work. That's why I made all these filters. So anyways, basically what happens is iron goes in here, blaze powder. Now this blaze powder is not automatically going into my drawer system, so that aspect of it is kind of manual. I can take blaze powder and just throw it into the system over there, but then I have to bring it over here and place it. But like the iron, for example, I haven't put that into the drawer system. But anyways, and then it makes secundus, and we have secundus in all of these, a stack in each one backed up. And then it pulls out the secundus, and then it can deposit them into these. I only have these first 3 set because the main things that I've been making: copper, lead, iron. And then I have them labeled here, and I have pictures because I wanted like an on-demand kind of craft. Because, like, for example, I don't want it crafting copper. I had like 8 copper dust, right, and it made all this. And I was waiting forever for that last dust to get finished because I needed iron, and copper dust is the devil. It's awful. But anyways, what the labels mean is that's the item I can throw in these hoppers and it'll start crafting. Because gunpowder is already being supplied by the system. Clay technically is supposed to be, but I don't have a ton of clay in there. I've only got 4. And then rotten flesh, which I've got rotten flesh. I don't know why it's not sending any over. But then basically it'll get crafted, and there's item ducts on the back that pull them out. They all have servos, and it dumps them into the condenser when there's space. And this system here is separate from the main system. So this item duct line is only dealing with alchemical dusts. So, and then over here I've got an alchemical fusion table making crystal shards, and I did upgrade that to start using Secundus instead of Primus. So, but it's pretty much like the setup we set up before, but I actually used item ducts this time, and have everything connected into the drawer system is really the main difference. I did make some water wheels. These aren't actually plugged up into anything, just the immersive engineering water wheels. Because I had a bunch of creosote, and I was like, I want to do something with this. So I put water wheels here, and I think I've still got a glass in this section here. But I think it kind of adds to this. And I will say this big structure is just temporary, because one thing that is quite interesting is this isn't actually a multi-block structure. Like, you'll notice it doesn't say multi-block form. So this doesn't have to be set up this way. And I'm actually, maybe after this episode or something, I may move it. But I'm thinking about right over here, or on the other side over there, I'm just going to have crucibles and crucible inserters set up, just constantly making this, like, crystal shard liquid, right? Because, I mean, this is a liquid. You can grab it and do stuff with it, you know. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to have, like, a crucible and crucible inserters set up over there with fluid pipes pumping out that crystal liquid, and then sending it over to these condensers and just putting it on top of the condenser. But we'll get to that stuff later. We'll do it in the next couple episodes. We'll be setting that up. So that way I don't have to have this huge, super tall multi-block thing everywhere, because it's so just horrible looking. I can't stand it. So we will be moving that. And by the way, I'm working on this build as much as I can, but all these silence gems things take a while to grind up. So, but anyways, we will be using that water wheel power soon. So, and over here you can hear something running. I moved our cobblestone, and we're going to be setting up a second floor to this that's identical to the first floor. So just a heads up. But it does have a void upgrade, because this is producing like crazy fast. Crazy fast. So anyways, the first thing that I want to do today is I want to set up the second floor to this, just mainly so you guys know how the Cobbleworks is set up, like how the cobblestone is set up. I'm not going to activate the second floor just because there's no point in it until we get the rest of this stuff set up. But what we're going to need, let's get some levers, let's get ourselves some buckets of lava, some water. And I actually don't think that's enough lava, is it? I'm missing a bucket. I thought I had all 3 buckets, but that's fine. I can go get some more in just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this sound muffler because we're going to need it, and then some block breakers. Okay. And I decided to actually raise this by 1. So let me just bring all these blocks up by 1. Let me break this off. Okay, so we're going to have something like this, and it'll make sense as I start putting the stuff in there. But basically what we're going to start with is block breakers. And we're going to have these facing... Let me remove this temporarily because the block breaker is going to break it. We're going to have 3 laid out just like that, facing off in this direction. And then we're going to have 2 over on this side. Okay, so just 5 block breakers just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put levers on these so they don't run. And if you're setting this up like to actually have it run, I would still suggest you put levers on it to start with, because you don't want these breaking the cobblestone. Because you're going to need the cobblestone to get the liquid started, basically. So we'll just put this down along through there like that. And then all we have to do is... Actually, let me grab this. I was having issues with the other builds, basically locking up, you know. And this setup does not lock up. So, let's actually remove this block right here, below where the block breaker is facing. I almost forgot about that. So that way the liquids, they're not going to flow across. You know, if the other liquid's not there to meet them, it's not going to flow across and cause, say, cobblestone over here, cobblestone over here. Instead, it'll just flow down in the hole and wait for the next, you know, for the liquid to come over. So that's what we want to do. And then let me grab just a little bit more cobble here. And I'll show you how that's collecting the cobble in just a second as well. But we'll replace that. And I know it's like a big cobbly mess, but we can't see inside of this, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so then we'll add the liquids. We're going to do water there, and then we'll just do like water there, and water right there. So altogether 4 bits of water. Now this could be expanded, you know, however, but I'm doing altogether 10 block breakers, just double stacking this design. So, and then we're going to take just some lava and we can put this in right there. And then we'll do this one, and I'm going to have to go get another bit of lava. And while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and put this muffler upgrade down. And I'm just going to have this setting like right there. Should be good. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. Forgot about this little issue here. I need to make sure all this water is covered because my stuff turns to ice. Alright, so basically that's what we end up with. So we have water, lava, water, lava, water, lava, water. And the block breakers are going to break that block, that block, that block, that block, that block. Okay, so for example then, if I was to flip all these levers, you can see they're breaking all those blocks, right? Now I am going to shut this off because even right now with just one floor of this, it's way more cobblestone than I need right this second. But we will be using that over this episode and the next episode and stuff like that. And then if we look down here, underneath the frame drawer, you can see that there's an advanced item collector. Radius, everything's set to 9. So it's going to cover this whole area back here. That might be a little bit overkill, but it doesn't really matter because all it's picking up is cobblestone. That's all it has access to, or a place to place the item, right? So basically that's what I've got set up for our cobble production. It does produce, when I have all of these running, it's going to produce a ton of cobble. Like 10 a second, maybe, actually probably 10 every half second. I don't know, it's really, really fast, right? Super fast. So that's going to be kind of the heart of these next couple episodes. It's just the cobble production. And I just kind of want to quickly show you guys. It's just double stacked that design. So then next up, I spent a while crafting up analog crafters and mechanical users. And let's go ahead and start setting this stuff up. And so what I'm going to do is later on I'm going to have a controller slave like sitting right here and then pumping the items through to the analog crafters. But for right now I'm going to have it be... I'm not going to set that up just yet, I don't think. I'm going to have like manual input for the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our first analog crafter right here. But we'll set up the controller slave in a little bit, or yeah, probably just in a little bit. We'll see. So we're going to go ahead and disable all these slots. And we're going to say this one is accessible from all sides. And we're just going to put, let's go ahead and set sticky. And we're just going to put wood right there. Okay, so it's going to start crafting down planks. Now, I'm not too concerned about the speed of this craft because it's not going to be crafting these all the time. It's going to be crafting grinders. And so it's only going to have to craft a grinder whenever a grinder is used up by one of our machines in our Cobbleworks. So let's go ahead and give it some wood to start with. And then next up, we're going to set another analog crafter right here. And this one, we're going to say sticky, spread items, and we're going to disable all of these slots. Just leave these two open. And then let's go ahead and grab some of these dark oak wood planks, and we're just going to set up a quick recipe here and say that's how you make sticks. Very, very simple. And then let's transfer the items, and I'm just going to use a transfer node, I do believe. Let me go grab one. So we're just going to put a transfer node down right there, and then we'll just do a transfer pipe. And so this is going to start feeding this wood, and it's going to start making sticks. And then next up, let's set up another analog crafter, and I think I'm going to have to bring cobble over from this. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have, let's not have that connect. And we're going to bring these transfer nodes through. Now this will eventually be a different cable and it'll be hidden. But I will say right now we don't have a whole lot of choice in item conduits, to say the least. So let's just bring this over and bring it up to here. So that transfer node will be able to send stuff to this. And let me go ahead and actually break this off for just a moment here. And we're going to set up a grinder recipe for just the basic grinder. So let's just go ahead, clear all that out. And I'm going to put sticky on this. So I'm going to take all these sticks. I'm going to put this recipe in right like that. And then we'll just connect that up. And I guess I'll just put the transfer node right here. That's fine. And let's go ahead and have it connect over. And we're going to go ahead and say that items can't go back this way. You know, they have to keep going in this direction. So whenever this comes out, it knows the only place it's going to have to check is this analog grinder. And we're going to go ahead and say spread items. So there we go. It's going to make stone rock grinders for us. Now, of course, this is only going to craft one at a time. The rock grinders don't stack. And then let's go ahead and set up another analog crafter. And I'm going to do it. We're going to put this one right here. And let's go ahead and split that off. And we're going to say sticky. Or no, not sticky. Sorry. We're going to say nothing down here. Because it's not going to need to spread the items. And it's not going to need sticky mode because none of these items stack. All sides are open. And we're just going to have transfer node pull out, go into here. And what should happen, I mean, technically it could craft at 2 of them and try to do that repair recipe. But what should happen is that, you know, this one's going to get pulled out, for example. And so it's going to craft this. That's going to go into the craft slot. And then by the time that another one is requested anywhere, this is going to already start filling up. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. But if it becomes an issue, we can always change it up and do something else like mechanical crafter or something like that instead. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see, but I think this should work perfectly fine. In my test world, I haven't had any issues with it anyways. We'll say that. So we've got stone rock grinders being crafted, created, and then we can start sending them to machines and using them, of course, to break down things. So we're going to start with the Cobbleworks side because it's imperative that we get that done for the smelting operation that we're going to need for the gems, okay? Because we're going to have to cook that cobblestone into smooth stone. So let's go ahead and grab these mechanical users here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up, I believe item ducts is what I want for this part. Now, I've got some here. Let me go craft just a few more of these. I should have the materials lying around. I may have to make some more. No, I'm good on lead. Never mind. Okay, I'm actually out of glass. I had a few hundred stacks of glass, or I had a few hundred glass, and now I don't have like any glass because that copper ate through so much glass. Alright, so I'm going to want just a couple servos here, as well as a couple filters in addition. So glass, iron, and redstone. And I am going to have to grab some more redstone, which is fine because we got plant matter. So let's go ahead and just get like a couple servos. And then I'm also going to want a couple filters. So we're going to have an item duct right here on this cobblestone. And it's going to be pulling the cobblestone out. And the first crafter that we're going to have set up is going to be right... I think we'll have a crafter here and a crafter here. Okay, so double analog crafters. And we are going to have storage drawer, like a storage drawer center for all this stuff. It's probably going to pump back into our main storage drawer network. But we'll cover that stuff towards the mid to end, like the end of the Cobbleworks part. I think is when we're going to do that part of it. So what I want to do is then just bring the item ducts down and along. And then I'm also going to have to get this stuff over, but we'll get that in just a second. So basically these item ducts are going to pull out. Let's go ahead and apply a servo to this. And we're going to say that you ignore redstone. You can just always pull out. I'm having like a terrible sneezing fit right now. And then all we have to do is then just plug up our item ducts to the bottom of this. And we're going to go ahead and say that this is sticky mode and spread items. All sides are accessible. And in a minute, this should start pumping over cobblestone. I tried to craft some body part templates, but this stuff, I believe it just turns, yeah, right back into cobblestone. And it's not going to do that anymore because I've got the sticky set up. So it's crafting compressed cobblestone for us. So there we go. And then what I want to do is, let's set a mechanical user down right here. And we're going to put a servo on this, or an item duct. Actually, I'm probably going to use a transfer node, in fact, because I've got so many of these as extras, and it really doesn't matter what goes here. So transfer node right there, and that's going to start getting compressed cobblestone. And then we're going to put another mechanical user on the opposite side of it. And let's say place block. Okay, so it's going to start placing down that compressed cobblestone. And then this one, what we want, we're going to say upper left slot only, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill this with cobblestone. And then let's go ahead and get a compressed stone rock grinder. And we'll just put this into here. And we're going to say left click. And use item on block. So you'll notice that it's starting to break that down and create gravel. Okay, so let me set this to redstone on for just a minute so that it'll quit breaking all that gravel. And then what I want to do is I want to set up some item collection. Because right now it's producing gravel for us. So let me go get first up a drawer. I am going to want, I've got some onyx speckled bricks. I'm just going to do another onyx drawer like the one that I just had with the cobblestone in it. So one of these are ones that got created incorrectly on accident. And then I also want to get an item collector. Just a standard one, ender pearl, hopper, and obsidian. And we don't really need the advanced one, just a standard one right here, that's perfectly fine. And what we're going to do is we are going to have our drawer setting right here. And I mean, it could set anywhere, but that's where I want it for my setup. Once I build this out, it's going to make sense. And what we're going to do is we are going to put the item collector right there, and let's put gravel into this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it in so that only gravel can go in here, and it's not going to get anything else built up in there. And then what I want to do is, right here I'm going to use item ducts, and that's because of the fact that this is going to eventually be connected into our main system that connects into the drawers. So things that are transfer node, they're not going to connect into our drawer system. Things that are item ducts will plug into the drawer network. The only exception being the rock grinder, but that's not going to have a place to go in the drawer network. So I'm just going to use item ducts so that it can plug into this connection and not have to run transfer nodes all the way across. And then we'll just go ahead and bring this back, and let's crescent hammer this side so that I don't want it to connect into this analog crafter. It can't anyways, because it's going to be moving gravel and this is only taking cobblestone, but even still. And let's say sticky, spread items, and let me go ahead and just grab a bit of this gravel so we can lay this out. There we go. And yeah, that's it. So let's just do a servo and say ignore redstone. So that should, in a minute, item ducts are just this way. There we go. It is crafting compressed gravel for us. So then what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this step from over here, and we're going to put a mechanical user down right here, another mechanical user down right here. We're going to say that you place block, and random slot, all that's fine. I mean, technically I could say upper left only and just fill it full of cobblestone. Yeah, let's actually do that. Upper left only and just fill all that with cobblestone. I'm not going to bother with it with this one because we're producing enough cobble. This buffer's going to be filled in no time. And that way if I ever need compressed cobble, I guess it's right here until we get compacting drawers. So, you know, for like making furnaces, for example. You know, it would be handy to actually have this just lying around. So anyways, place block, upper left slot only. And then over here, which actually, let me go ahead and put the transfer node down. And transfer pipe. So that's going to start getting compressed gravel. And there we go. And then we're going to have a mechanical user here. We're going to say use item on block. Upper left slot only. Left click. And, oh, let me set this to redstone on for just a minute here. Because otherwise it's just going to break compressed gravel and return compressed gravel. And I will say, just having this stuff set up, because I hate making sand. Absolutely hate it. And I hate making gravel. I hate making all these things. I just hate everything. It is going to make it so much easier having this set up. Like, crazy helpful. So we'll just pop that into there. Let's go ahead and lock it in. And then we'll put our item collector right here. So there we go. We've got gravel and sand being produced. Let's go ahead and grab one of these rock grinders real quick. And these things, I mean, these things will last a decent amount of time for being, you know, pretty well free. So let's go ahead and set this to always on. Oh yeah, I forgot about flint. We are going to be producing flint, and there's a chance we may be producing flint in another way as well. And technically, I mean, you could do an advanced item collector and just put a filter on it onto a chest and pump it through. I'm doing the drawers, so I've got just a little bit larger of a buffer. And that way I can put my void connections over here. Is kind of what I'm thinking. So I think that's the way I want to do it. So this drawer, we're going to have it setting like right here. And we'll say item collector. This has a radius of 3. That should reach all the way. And let's go ahead and put some flint in there and then lock it in. And so then we can say always active. And you can say this is going to start grabbing all this stuff, and we can see flint's going up, sand is going up. And right now I'm not going to let this thing run too crazy, and that's due to the fact that if this runs out, then it's just going to be dumping compressed cobble. Or actually it'll probably just break the compressed cobble, but it'll be dumping compressed gravel everywhere until I plug up those item ducts over there to this. Wow, we've already got 524 sand, like no time. And for right now, there is going to be some cables that are visible. That's just part of it. I don't mind. Because eventually we're going to upgrade this with XNAT. And really, I mean, eventually we're going to have crushers that do all of this for us. But let's go ahead and put some filters into this. And I'm going to tell it that I only want it to get compressed stone rock grinders in these two. So we're going to say whitelist, compressed stone rock grinder, whitelist, compressed stone rock grinder. And we'll just run these pipes over for right now into that. And then all we have to do is just plug this up and use that last servo that we've got. So let me do, let's see, what would be the best way to get this over there? Honestly, I'm probably just going to go through here because I can do thermal facades on this part. So we'll just run it over to the bottom of the analog crafter, and we're going to throw a servo on it and say ignore redstone, and then just pipe that through like that. And really, the only thing about these item ducts is it's not going to be, these items won't get here fast enough. Okay, I had an idea what we're going to do. For right now, I mean, this can change once we get some better item transport. But for right now, I would love to have XNAT, but XNAT is a ways into the pack. So we're not going to be able to get that just yet. But what we're going to do is we are going to set, let me actually remove this. Let me get, actually I've got one right here. We're going to chest setting right there. We're going to go ahead and filter it, and we're going to say that whitelist compressed stone rock grinder. Okay? So that way only compressed stone rock grinders can go into this, and then it can kind of build up like a stockpile. And transfer nodes are much faster than item ducts, so then what we'll do is we'll have transfer node right there, and it can grab these, and then it can just send them over. So that way, if these run down, they will very swiftly get a new one from the transfer node. And there we go, we just got another compressed stone rock grinder, and there's another one. And it doesn't seem to be crafting just the singles, like repairing them right now, so. Yeah, because it gets them in faster than it can use them. Okay, and then next up, we're going to have to set up our combustion stuff. So I'm getting a couple quick droppers. I've also got 2 casings. These were just leftover casings that were lying around. And then I'm also going to need combustion. And I'm going to go with bronze. And that's because bronze can use power. I'd prefer to use power over having to use fuel units. So let me grab just a couple pieces of gunpowder. And we'll get 2 bronze heat components, and oh yeah, I've got bronze. That's why I was like, wait, was my math off? Or no, I had those plates, and I was like, oh yeah. And we're gonna grab 2 of these. Okay, and then I'm also going to want 2 drawers. Let me make yeah, that tree's grown. Let me just go grab this. And I'll put the extra wood into our stick creation stuff. And by the way, right now I've got the sand and the gravel just turned off. Here shortly that's not going to be an issue, but for right now, I swear I never get enough saplings back from these dark oaks. Like, I hate it. I'm going to end up having to make like a fortune scythe or something like that to to actually get back as much as I'm using on those. Alright, so we'll get just a few frame drawers, and we're going to put this into here. Let's go with, I want the onyx ones in this case. And we'll grab 2 of those. Oh yeah, and I'm also going to need combustion collectors. Just 2 of these. And for right now, I'm going to use cobblestone on these, but I will change that to metals. Once we get a little bit farther in the setup, and we have lots of metals coming in, I can do blocks of iron or something like that instead. And let's see, I think our combustion setups, we're going to have these like one right here. And this first one, we're going to use iron casing. Specifically, the bronze casing is not going to be strong enough for it, so we'll put that right there. And we'll go ahead and pop a bronze combustion heater in there. Actually, let me build this one out first. Let me plot this out. So on the, let's see, do we want it on the back side or... Yeah, I'm going to put on the back side, I'm going to put this combustion collector right here. And then we're going to put, we'll just do cobble, and then I'll do some glass right there. And I will clean up the floor. I'll bring the onyx around and so on. But for right now, that works. And then at the top, we're going to put a quick dropper right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a drawer down. Did I not make 2 frame drawers? I only made 1. That's fine. We're going to put our frame drawer right here. And then over here next to that, we're going to put our other combustion setup. So we'll go cobble, cobble, glass. And then on the back here, we'll put our combustion collector. Just pretty much identical to that one. Oh, you know what? I put a frame drawer here. That's why I only had 1. I guess I placed it down right here. And this one we're going to have the bronze casing down there with the bronze combustion heater. And we'll put this quick dropper on the top. Like that. And this room is going to get expanded out in that direction. I made it much too small because we still have a couple big things that got to go in here. And then that's not even including the gym stuff and all that. But the gym stuff is fairly small, fairly compact. No, actually, it may not get expanded all that much, because I am going to use this middle section. That's why I haven't put the floor in. That, and I don't have a lot of resources to put the floor in, but... and then we're going to put the frame drawer... Whoops. We're going to put the frame drawer setting just right here. Okay, so we've got double combustion setups. And then let's go ahead and bring some power over to this. And like I said, I'm going to use these water wheels to transfer the power. And I can't remember, I think I've got some extra... immersive engineering cabling. I'm going to make some new ones, that's fine. I've got tons of copper, and we don't really need a whole lot of this stuff. So we've got our connectors and our relays now. And I'm going to start with just a connector on this kinetic dynamo. And then I'm going to put 2 connectors onto these. And I guess I'll go ahead and run that other water wheel over. That should be fine. Pop that onto there. And then what we'll do is we'll just put a relay setting like right here. And we put down a new torch here. And we'll just attach some copper cable over like that. I'm going to have to craft more of this, I'm positive. And then we'll put this LV wire connector right here. And I guess we'll put the relay connections like there. And put one right there. And we'll just run that over. And we'll run this one over. Okay, let me get some more LV wire. And I actually don't mind the immersive engineering cables being visible. I actually quite like them. And then what we'll do is we'll put a relay right here. And we're just going to connect both of these into this relay. And then we'll do just like that. And then let me put a block down right here. And I doubt that this is going to reach. I'm going to try it, just out of curiosity. I can't remember. I think it's like 16 blocks that these can reach, and then HV can... Yeah, too far away. That's fine. So maybe we'll just have a relay setting right up here. we'll be fine. Because this is going to be, this part's not going to be visible. So I think that's going to be alright. We'll connect that one up. And then let me grab this connection again. And we'll just connect that over. You know what? I forgot to actually plug this into that. Okay, so now if we take a look. There we go. It's building up heat units. And I imagine this one over here is as well. And now it's building up RF in this. So that is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so then what I want to do is we're going to set this up with a little bit of redstone control. Oh, this cable's going to be in the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift this LV wire relay. No, place it to right here. Then it shouldn't be in the way of what I want to do. And we'll just connect that up. Okay. Alright, so those are still getting power, and it's no longer going to block what I'm trying to do. And so the next thing that I want to get is I want to get some upgrades for our storage drawer. Just a redstone upgrade is fine. I guess technically the redstone max upgrade is cheaper, but redstone's easy enough. Okay, so let me get, I'm going to get 2 of these. I'm going to get one for each of those storage drawers, because when those start to get stuff backing up in them, I don't want them to just keep on trying to make things, right? And we'll just pop over here, and we'll pop these into the storage drawers. So one right there, one right there. Okay, so now they're going to emit a redstone signal based on how full they are. And then I've got redstone. Let me go ahead and get the items to lock the drawers in. And the thing is, these are going to be pumping into our drawer system, which of course that drawer will be able to fill up. I just don't care to have like a huge buffer of these things. But what we're going to do is we're going to put blaze powder in that one, gunpowder in this one. Like one of those things where you're looking right at it and you can't find it. And then let's go ahead and grab some item ducts, and let me go make a couple servos real quick. Okay, I've got 3 servos and 2 filters, which is perfect. And what I want to do is we're going to have, let's see, eventually that's going to have a item duct on it too, so I'm going to go ahead and just plug one in. Because basically, once we put our drawer controller, or our controller slave down, it'll set just like right here. And all these item ducts will link together and plug into that, so we can have cobble come in over there. We can have gravel, sand, flint, blaze powder, gunpowder, and then everything else that we're going to be setting up, which is quite a bit of a list, in fact. But for right now, we're just going to put a servo into this one. We're going to say that you ignore redstone. And then over here, we're going to put an item duct. Let's see, I'm going to want redstone right there. We're going to do the item duct right here. And we're going to say that you are going to have a filter. And let's go ahead and put flint into this filter. And we're going to whitelist. So only flint is allowed inside of that quick dropper. And then our combustion collector, let's go ahead and put a transfer node on that. And kind of bring this down under the floor just a little bit here. Grab my transfer pipes, because I want this to feed directly into the frame drawer. And we'll just bring this around. So that's going to be able to feed into this gunpowder setup. And then what we can do is, let's go ahead and just, let's see, these are going to have pillars in front of them. And actually I can do chisels and bits right here. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to put the redstone just right on top of this drawer. And it's going to run over here. Okay, so, I mean, it's not going to have a huge buffer in it. You know, probably about 100 gunpowder in this or so. And it's going to tell this quick dropper to stop dropping things. Which will, of course, cause the combustion to stop. And then it's going to stop making gunpowder, you know. Because I'm not too worried about this having a large buffer, because we're going to have a buffer right over there. So if there's space for this to send over there, it can send over there. But it's not going to keep just a ton of gunpowder in this room at all times. And then what I want to do is pretty much, well, actually we can go ahead and plug this up so it can start running at least. And start producing us some resources. So we'll just bring that around like that. And here in a second, that should start going off, and we should start hearing it. But then I want to plug up an item duct here. And this is, of course, going to plug over into the drawer system as well, long term. But for right now, then we're going to put a servo on it. We're going to say, just ignore redstone. And then let's go ahead and break that off. We're going to put an item duct right here. And we're going to put a filter onto this one. That right there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I forgot one thing. Let me get a... Let me sever this connection for just a moment. Let me go get 2 redstone clocks. That way we can have a redstone signal being applied to the combustion setup. Now, of course, it's not going to run if there's nothing in there for it to craft. So once the quick dropper stops supplying it with drops, then it's going to stop running. And then these redstone clocks, we can just put these like right here. Is fine. And then we can put the other one right there. Okay, because all this is going to be hidden. You're going to be able to see the front of this, like that glass block, and that's going to be about it once I get this all set up. So, okay, so that's set up. That can activate. We'll go ahead and plug that item duct back up. And here in a second, that should start going off. And then I want to, right here, let me put right there. Go ahead and grab some gunpowder. We're going to put this into the filter, and we're going to say whitelist. And we'll go ahead and put that there. And there we go. It's starting to make gunpowder for us. And the transfer node should start sending it in just a second. There we go. 37, 45, and so on. I mean, transfer nodes aren't the fastest thing, but that's why I have the buffer set so low, because it's going to go over that buffer every time, because it's going to have stuff that's in there being combusted. It's going to have combustion collector with some stuff. It's going to have the transfer node with some stuff, and so on. But in a second, that power is going to go up to 2. And honestly, this combustion collector, or this combustion setup, yeah, it may run out of power eventually, but that's fine. It'll get caught back up. So. Okay, you'll notice the power just jumped to a power of 2, and it's emitting a strong enough redstone signal to stop the quick dropper. So the quick dropper has stopped up, and this is no longer sending flint. Well, it's sending flint, but it's going to stop in just a second once that dropper fills up. So the combustion generator is still kind of running through this flint that's in here. And honestly, I mean, it's probably got a couple hundred, but this thing has a buffer of, 2048. And then it's not going to run again until it gets below that buffer. And, it'll kind of fluctuate back and forth as it needs to. Okay, and then on this one, we're going to put redstone and then connect redstone over like that. And then we're pretty much going to set it up the exact same way. We've got, let's see, that's already filtered. Yes, gunpowder whitelist. And then we're going to have, for this one, we'll just have the transfer node come out like that. Because we don't need, I couldn't connect it into the back of this because I have the item duct and the redstone on top. This one can have the item duct on the right side. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And plug that in so it's going to be able to move the blaze powder over. And then all I have to do to get this side running then is just plug up these item ducts. And let me put this piece of cobble back. And then here in a minute we should see some gunpowder getting dropped into this and creating blaze powder for us. There we go. And blaze powder, it doesn't take a whole lot of heat units. So, I mean, you'll notice it's kicking through this stuff a lot faster than the gunpowder is being created. Because the gunpowder actually takes a lot of heat units. And honestly, I would prioritize upgrading this one over upgrading that one over there, because it's not really a big issue. Alright, and this one has enough blaze powder that it has shut off this quick dropper. And I'm going to go ahead and just put some blocks here to kind of give you an idea. Now these will be replaced probably with iron blocks, maybe even after this episode, because I do have a bit of iron. So that way it kind of all matches in there. We've got the iron look all through there. So now we're creating blaze powder, which is of course awesome. It is quite nifty. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is, let's see, we've got an analog crafter. Let me get, oh yeah, I've got the servo already. Let me get some more item ducts. I should have the materials over here. Let me eat real quick. And we don't really need a filter because I'm going to use sticky mode. I'm also going to want, let me grab these bricks, and we are going to get ourselves a crucible. Just grab that. And honestly for this, I think one is going to be plenty. And then let me grab the steel, and we're going to make an iron drum, I think. And eventually we're going to have a couple iron drums, probably. Well, probably just one right here, and then we'll probably route it around a little bit. A bit later on. I don't need it right this second, but let's go ahead and get ourselves just a cauldron. Oh yeah, we can't make reinforced large drums because they require weighted pressure plates, and that requires rolling machine in this pack. Otherwise, it wouldn't be any issue at all, but... Oh, wait, I'm not going to be able to... Oh my gosh. And these take advanced control circuits. Never mind them. Okay, I'll tell you what we do have, though. We have singularity tanks for mob grinding utilities. So let me just make... I'll just start with one of those. They hold 32 buckets. So, I mean, they're kind of between the stone drum and the iron drum, and they're actually super, super cheap. So we'll just go with that. And the nice thing is, I mean, they retain their liquid and stuff whenever they're broken, and they actually look, I think, better than drums. So we may start moving up to using these a bit. So there's that. And let's go ahead and start setting this up a little bit. We're going to put an analog crafter down, and it's going to be setting like, let's have it setting right here. In fact, I might move some of this stuff around as I start building up this room. Once we have our gems and I can actually start really building, it's going to be great. Alright, so I'm going to say sticky mode, yes, and spread items, yes. And let's just put blaze powder like that. And we'll go ahead and disable those sides. And then what I can do is, let's go ahead and start up our item ducts. And we'll say servo right there. We don't have to filter it, of course, because it's already filtered. And so here in a second, there we go, it's starting to make... It emptied out a little bit of that blaze powder, so it went ahead and made us some blaze powder. Why is that? Oh, you know what? I actually do need to move this transfer unit. And that's because redstone is interfering with it. I didn't think about that. I forgot that redstone shuts those off, so... There we go. And let me help it get cleaned out. Well, I need to get cleaned out. But if we take a look in here, we have 64 blaze powder blocks. Basically, I just want to make those, right? And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to have that get pumped out. And I'm not going to do an item duct because I have no real reason, I don't think, to store blaze powder blocks. I mean, because all they're going to do is make lava, and that's what we're going to be doing with them. We're going to have the crucible setting like right here, I think. So we'll put down that. We'll put flint and steel on it. We're going to light it on fire. And then let's go ahead and just put that right there. And then we're also going to need a crucible inserter. And we'll just put this there on top of the crucible, and we'll bring our transfer pipes up. And I'll tell you what, let me break off that connection. It doesn't really matter, it's not going to insert, but anyways, you can see that lava is being created. There's 1,000 millibuckets, and it's melting down all those blaze blocks for us. Okay. And this is going to have a decent sized buffer, 64, 64, 64. There's going to be a lot of blaze powder blocks over here, but that's fine. And then let's get some fluid transfer system that can handle lava. Of course, fluid ducts aren't going to be able to do it, but we should be able to upgrade to hardened fluid ducts, I think. It's Invar and lead. And I'm fairly certain that we can make Invar at this point. Let's see, what does it take to make the nickel alchemical ore dust? It is glowstone and iron. Okay, that's not an issue at all. Alright, so there's some nickel alchemical dust, and then what we'll do, I'm just going to switch this iron out for the time being, and then let me get just a bit of this glass. I'll get some more being made in just a second. And this should have enough power in it. I'm going to go ahead and throw that stuff in there and just crush that down. So we're going to get some nickel grit and some iron grit. And then we can just combine this together, get ourselves some Invar blend, and we'll get that stuff smelted real quick. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this transfer node. And just replace it with an item duct system. Because the item duct system, we can make it so it's not affected by redstone. We can have it just pump right over there. And we just have to make sure that it doesn't connect into our main system. because I want this drawer to handle where the items go, right? So that way it prioritizes sending things farther down the line because it's going to be closer than the drawer controller way over there. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to put our hardened fluid duct down just right here. We'll go ahead and give it a servo. Say that you can ignore redstone. And you can see it's pulling out some of that lava there. It's filling up its internal buffer. And then our singularity tank, let's just have this setting. Actually, we're going to have it setting right here. Okay. So this is going to be like our lava buffer. And if we need lava and we need to take it over maybe to the smeltery or something like that, we can just pick this up. And if I was, actually right here, you can see it contains lava, 7,904 millibuckets. Okay, and then let's just do just a couple small final touches for this. And what we're going to do is first let's put an analog crafter down. We're going to have it setting right here. Okay. And gravel's going to be able to come into this, which is great. Now let's go ahead and grab a couple pieces of this. We're going to say that, let's say all these sides are disabled. And then it's going to start crafting flint for us. And I'm going to go ahead and say sticky and spread items. And there we go. And that way, if this isn't running, we won't have to run the sand one all the time just to get flint. We can have it running, the gravel making flint. And this one can shut off once sand is done. And then I want to go ahead and just add a couple redstone upgrades to this and to this. And now these block placers are both set to always on. I'm going to set these ones back here to I'm going to leave them on redstone off. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to run redstone up like that, because that one's going to be powering this off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this lever. That one's good to go. Okay, redstone has to touch the top of it is what it is. So we'll just run it up like that. So this can have a little bit in here. And if I want a larger buffer, I can always add storage upgrades to this. It's no big deal. Because even like emerald upgrades, for example, we have a bunch of emeralds and we're about to have a bunch more emeralds. So that'll be fine. So this is powering this off through redstone whenever this gets filled. Honestly, I would rather have it... Actually, we're going to do that. So it has a little bit larger buffer. Okay, and it's going to be somewhat messy once we have access to maybe some better redstone control stuff. Because I don't want to put like comparators and big clunky setups back here. Just a little bit of redstone powder is fine. And then over here we're going to do kind of the same thing, but we're going to have to run it around basically to avoid this connection. So what we're going to do is let's see, that one, did I already put the redstone upgrade in this? I think I did. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this item collector just a little bit. Put that torch down right there. There we go. And I'm just going to slap an item collector down on the bottom of that. Alright, and so then if we were to put redstone over the top of this, you can see it activates from the redstone upgrade in here. And then we're just going to kind of run it down. And then we'll have it come up right here so it can shut off this mechanical user. So basically whenever these buffers get filled, the gravel one has a little bit larger of a buffer, but that's fine because the gravel, of course, is going over here as well as over there. Sand is basically just going to be used to make glass, and then from that, crystal shards. And then the flint that's being created over here, we're going to go ahead and connect it into this system. So let's say, bring that out. Let me grab crescent hammer. We're going to break off that connection. And then, let's see, gravel's coming out of here. So we'll go ahead and bring that out. And let me break off that connection. And break off these two connections. And we'll just link that all up. So flint can come out of here now. And we'll go ahead and put a servo into that. And I'm going to need one more servo, it looks like. And then I want to go ahead and just link all this stuff up. And so let me go grab a servo, and then we're going to link everything up and link it into our drawer system. So all this stuff can just run and fill up our drawers. Because over here we've got space for cobblestone, we've got space for gravel, sand, and so on. So let's just put a servo onto this item duct. This is the one that does the sand. And we're going to go ahead and say ignore redstone. And then let's just link all this together. So I want cobblestone. Go ahead and grab that. and we'll just bring it over and connect it into here. That's why we've been filtering everything so far. Actually, don't need that right there. And then we'll just link all of this stuff up together. And then over here, we're going to do the same thing with all of this, the blaze powder and the gunpowder. Okay, so now everything in this entire system is linked together through that item transfer. And bear in mind, I mean, some of this stuff's going to be somewhat slow moving items because of the nature of item ducts, but that's okay. And then all we have to do is just drop down our controller slave, just right here, and then everything can start pumping into our drawer system. Okay, and none of these drawers have void upgrades, so whenever this stuff gets backed up, it gets filled, that's fine. It's going to stop accepting items from this network. So nothing's going to run more than it has to, except for cobblestone. That's the only thing in here that's got a void upgrade. Okay, and you can see this has started running again. It looks like it pumped something into the system. So it's taking a little while for these item ducts to really like register it and start syncing up to it. I've noticed that's an issue with item ducts, is they take a while to actually start sending items. And sometimes they'll stop, they'll lock up, and then all of a sudden they'll kind of resume working. I don't know, it's weird. Item ducts seem kind of janky in 1.12 from what I've noticed, but I'm going to remove this servo on this side. And I'm going to plug that up so this can input into here. And then what we're going to do is let's change the servo over to this side, because all the extraction with the flint needs to come out of this side. And then we'll just bring these over and connect them into the drawer controller. So that's going to be its own little network, and this is going to be its own little network. So I don't know. Okay, now it's actually starting to pump the flint out a bit quicker. That's good. And then the flint's going into here, and probably into here, I imagine. Let me see. Yeah, flint's building up in this. It may actually prioritize this first. I don't know. Which if it does, that's okay, because that's going to fill up pretty quickly. Actually, yeah, I know it'll prioritize that because that's the closest connection. That one's a little bit farther off, but that's fine. Okay, it's just kind of it's breaking down gravel as it needs more flint. Uh-oh. Sounds like gunpowder probably just went into the system, it looks like. So, there we go. That is working wonderfully. And, I mean, like I said, it'll start pumping out that blaze powder, and that's going to start running, and, you know, the whole line's going to start running as the items ducts kind of realize that all this stuff is here. Now, granted, I could probably do it easier. It'd probably run a little bit better if I had, like, a smaller drawer network or just had drawers dedicated to the Cobbleworks over here. But I'd like to have it all here, and once we get, like I said, once we get some stronger item connections, that's going to be a moot point anyways, so... anyways, I think that's about it for this episode. Next episode, we will wrap up the Cobbleworks, which is basically building 2 Tinker's furnaces. The big Tinker smeltery furnaces that actually cook down items that were added in more recent versions of Tinker's constructs, like 1.10 and onwards. We're going to set a couple of those up, one for making glass, one for making smooth stone, which those things smelt items due to the bulk amount. They're not super fast at smelting like an individual item, but bulk amounts, they smelt crazy fast. Crazy fast. And you can see this is finished whatever it was working on, making more gunpowder. And I saw some just got pumped out right there. Yep, 70, 62. It seems like it's pumping it over here into this drawer network. Oh yeah, I know it is. I didn't have 700. I had like 150 or 200 gunpowder in here before. So it is definitely pumping gunpowder into that drawer in mass. So I'm still waiting for the blaze powder to realize what it can do, but that's fine. Oh, there it goes. It's pumping blaze powder out now. Yeah. And that's probably going to start running in just a moment. Oh, wait. Flint is probably going into the drawer network, is what's happening. That is a-okay. So, basically right now it looks like it's pumping flint from both these sides. Not a problem. I don't know if sand is just done, or if it just hasn't started... No, okay, it hasn't started sending sand yet, but that's fine. And cobblestone is not done either. But yeah, next episode we'll finish this up. We're basically going to add in smooth stone and glass. And then we'll start... We'll have come full circle, right? We've started with the cobblestone. We've got this all done. We needed the lava to run the furnaces to make the smooth stone and the glass. So we'll finish out that. Then we'll probably maybe end up plugging crystal shards in, but it'll probably be that table over there, maybe. Or I may have the crystal shards made here and then sent over there. We'll see. And we'll do the gym setup. The gym setup is actually like super easy compared to what we've done here. So, you know, that's no problem at all. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Stay up to date with when the new videos come out. If you guys have any questions about the setup or anything, do let me know, and I'll do my best to get those answered for you. And I hope you guys join me for next episode. We're going to be adding in some more stuff. We're also, fairly soon, we're going to be automating dirt in a fairly easy fashion, and possibly clay. I have to do a bit of testing with that, but I think we could probably automate clay as well within this. And I can't remember if I mentioned it before. Like, I know we have the AA crushers and stuff coming up before long, and so I mean technically you could make gravel and sand with that, and it wouldn't take us very long to get those. However, this system is going to run way faster than AA crushers are, unless you just had like a wall of AA crushers, because of the fact that it's breaking 9 at a time, and it can break much faster than an AA crusher can even process one item. You know, it can break, you know, half a stack of gravel, or make half a stack of gravel in the time that an AA crusher could make one. So, and it really isn't, the only thing we're inserting is just a little bit of power, which is passive power, and then sticks. So, which I might, oh no, I'm good on sticks. We may automate wood fairly soon as well, because there's a couple ways that we can do that. So we may do that, or we may push on and get into Steve's carts before we start automating wood. I don't know for sure. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys next time. We'll add a bit more to this and expand this setup a bit more. So next episode. So anyways, until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time.